for the final score. You just saw Jude Bellingham there. 7 goals at this World Cup for him. And by the way, Michael Elise now with 7 assists, 2 assists today. That's the most on record in a single World Cup. He surpassed Pelé, who had 6 assists in 1970. We are breaking records all over the place. Let's hear from the man today who got a hat-trick. Here's Bukayo Saka. How do you look back on England's tournament as a whole?
Yeah, I would say we built and built across the tournament. We had some amazing results, and in the end we fell short against Argentina, and yeah, it hurts a lot to all of us, and I'm sure it's the same for the fans back home, but we have to hold our head high and move on and focus on the next one. That's what I say.
Finally, yesterday John Stones said he doesn't like the noise around the manager. How do you feel about that?
I think it's just part of the game. You know, when you lose, there's always going to be noise. When you win, there's going to be noise. It's how you react to it, how you use it as fuel. And yeah, today we finished strong, so that's all we could really do, and we've done it.
With the England team, there is always noise. Alexi, what do you think the narrative will be now after maybe a few days, although I'm not sure the newspapers give anyone a few minutes, let alone a few days, because what do you think they'll look back on this World Cup as?
A missed opportunity. I think it's still going to be, it was in the palm of your hand and you let it get away. In the moment that Thomas Tuchel was hired to get you beyond, they weren't able to do that. And you know, this is not going to solve everything, this result. It'll be a nice result, and I think rightfully so, that it should be celebrated. But in totality, I think England did some wonderful things. I mean, we're looking at Jude Bellingham, and that performance in this World Cup is something to behold and something to cherish and something to celebrate. So there were wonderful moments, including down in Mexico City, that game against Mexico, that you really felt was historic and they pushed on from. But ultimately, the game that they needed to win, and more importantly, I think English fans recognize could have been won, wasn't won, and this doesn't change that.
Peter, I think since the game against Argentina, since the semi-final, the narrative towards the players has been pretty positive. I think the England fans are still very much on board with the players. To the manager, as was talked about there in that interview, to Bukayo Saka, pretty negative. Do you think that this will change it at all now that England have had their best finish at a World Cup since 1966?
I think it's all a bit silly, because I think people should take a step back and actually look what England has done. I've always looked at England as a team being close to being great, but there's always something missing. There's always been a little thing that you go, no, but they don't have that. The other teams, they do, and that's a competition. This time, there is so much promise in this team. The players they have, the individuals they've got, and obviously we can criticise the manager from now on until the cows comes in. It's not going to change much. Yes, I think he made one mistake. He didn't play Saka at all in that semi-final against Argentina for whatever reason. I do not know, but that's not going to define what they've done in this World Cup. They've played well. They've played really well. I was in Mexico for that game. To go there in those circumstances, there's a lot of things happened around that game. You know, it was moved to a 12 o'clock kickoff, and then it was moved back. There's a lot of confusing things that not necessarily going to play hard on your mind, but it's going to play on your mind as a coach, as a player. And then you get there, and it's raining. It gets postponed for 1 hour. And then the altitude, and then, of course, the support that Mexico they had there. And for England to come through in that game with 10 men, that was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And then, of course, they go on to play Norway, and played really well against Norway. Difficult circumstances this time in Miami. And we've just seen a game from Miami, how crazy it can go. And I've been there twice during this World Cup. And it's grueling. It's the humidity. It's difficult to play that. They did so well. And then you're up against the world champions. And what do you expect? That you can just go in there and win it? I mean, we talk about the narrative. The narrative today is that Jude Bellingham, he has apparently set something to the sky. That's now the big story in England. And all of a sudden, they're questioning Jordan Pickford in the goal and kind of not put the blame on him. And I think that is a bit silly. They should look at it as a big picture. They've done well.
Okay, that's an interesting take for sure, Casper. Do you think that the blame on the manager for some decisions is the right way to look at this, or the wrong way?
Listen, everybody's going to make mistakes, and managers will make mistakes. Obviously, when they went to the back five playing 10 men in Mexico, it was seen as a genius kind of thing, and he made a decision. It didn't work, which obviously means that there's going to be criticism. But to these guys' point, I think for England to progress, they need to change. The whole country needs to change the mentality and how you're looking at this. This has been, yes, you didn't win the World Cup. This has been a huge success. You've seen what it's done for the country. It's galvanized people. It's given people hope. People have had street parties. They've been up all night. Pubs have been open. Kids have stayed off school, all those things. It's done exactly what it needed to do. Okay, you know, bronze is coming home this time, you know, but if you, instead of looking at all the negatives, you have to look at the positives as well, and there are so many positives. This team is going to progress because they have youth, they have experience, and whether people agree or not, they have a very good manager. You know, so I think the most important thing to do now is to take stock and don't become emotional in their reactions to things. Be calm and collected about things and be reflective. And then, you know, there's always things that you can do better. But the problem will be now, you have a great performance like today, and people are going to say, Saka, why didn't he play? Instead of thinking about this, then I think you have to look at what a good performance today was, and you take it as your best result since 1966, and you build on that for the next major tournament.
Rebecca, what do you think?
Bronze
You are the
medals
only English
going
person.
round the necks of the England
Come on.
players.